Well, of course, for those who don't know, in Lebanon, there is roughly 200,000 Palestinian refugees who live in Palestinian refugee camps. And thus, the groups active in Gaza, be it Hamas or the Islamic Jihad, have they have their chapters as well in Lebanon. So since the start of the conflict, and that was the first incident in particular on the southern border of Lebanon, a group of Palestinian militiamen tried to infiltrate into northern Israel. These infiltration incidents have occurred roughly 3 or 4 times. The last one was earlier this morning, as the Israeli army has reported. On the other side, we also have, of course, Hezbollah, which is the Lebanese group, the Shiite Lebanese group, which is mostly active in southern Lebanon. It's a very big group. So the attacks on the Israeli military sites all around the border, in particular, the anti-missile attacks, the attacks on armored vehicles, on Merkavas, those were claimed mostly by Hezbollah.
These different groups, are they coordinating amongst each other? And are these skirmishes, are they intensifying? Are we getting closer to a two-front war?
These groups are known to have continuous coordination, especially since the times when Hamas has reconciled most recently with Hezbollah, with Iran, also with the Syrian regime. So we know for a fact that the relationship between Hamas and these groups in particular was slightly affected after the start of the Syrian uprising or the Syrian civil war. But over the course of the past few years, the relationship between all these proxies of Iran have developed. We've seen continuous meetings that take place mostly in Beirut's southern suburbs between Hezbollah, Hamas, and the Islamic Jihad. So, of course, it is inevitable for one to say that these groups are almost in total coordination. And that was very evident with the first statement that was issued by Hezbollah after the start of the incident in Gaza. So, yes, they do coordinate, and Hezbollah mentioned that explicitly in the first statement that came out. As for the intensity of the attacks, so over the past 3 days, we've seen an increasing amount of attacks on the southern border of Lebanon, mostly coming from Hezbollah's side. So initially, we saw that Hezbollah attacked the disputed territories of Shabat Farms, which is a disputed territory between Lebanon and the Golan Heights, which is controlled by Israel. But over the course of the days, these attacks have moved from that disputed territory to all military sites for the Israeli army across the southern border of Lebanon or the northern border of Israel. So yes, the intensity of the attacks has been increasing. Today, Hezbollah has publicly claimed a number of attacks, one towards the east near the Israeli town of Metula, a number of other incidents towards the western side of the border. And as well, Hezbollah announced that it lost 4 fighters in the exchange of fire that took place. And after all of the attacks that are being launched by Hezbollah in particular, the Israeli army is retaliating with heavy shelling that is at times targeting the outskirts of Lebanese towns, very close to where civilians live. So yes, the situation is getting much tougher, especially today and yesterday compared to the days before, which is very worrying about the possibility of it escalating furthermore into a total second front.